Happy lunchtimes. It is Monday lunchtime. Sorry about that. Effectively, this is your only proper day of work this week, because by the time tomorrow gets there, we're very much into pre-match build-up for Manchester United. So you need to get us... I mean, there's two ways to look at this, positives and negatives. You need to get your week boxed today. So just pile it all in today, and then it means that you can free and clear to daydream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But the positive side of that is that whilst you've got a lot on today, it means that going forward into tomorrow, you can take it easy. Feet can be put up. Everyone expects it. Everyone in your workplace knows all you're doing is thinking about Liverpool versus Manchester United. That's fair, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah, I was trying to compress my work week into from 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock this morning.
Really?
But I've done a sterling job.
It's gone well, do you?
Yeah, I'm really quite pleased with myself. I'm thinking of doing solidly F4 for the rest of the week.
That's it, you're done. Nailed it. Rob Gutman gets up early in the mornings. You'll never get up earlier than Rob Gutman. Remember that.
5 days from greatness.
That's the way in which it works. And Rob, in part of compressing his work week, says, we're going to do the video together today. This is what I'd like to talk about, and effectively it's the gutter.
Yeah.
You want to talk about gutter?
Well, it's the Sunday papers actually, but the gutter thing was... I'm actually going to dispel this one slightly. In the Twitterverse, the papers...
Do not dispel.
Well, they were talking... There's an interview with Goetze where he's asked about Liverpool, and he goes, you better ask Jurgen, right? I think he's just messing, but it's been interpreted as, well, that's the biggest come and get me plea anyone's ever seen or heard of. Having said that, I think it's very much on. What else has there been? Oh, yeah, this is the maddest one. Spurs want Jordan Henderson for 25 million.
Why is that mad?
Well... Unless we've decided.
Well, not from our point of view. Why is it mad from Spurs'?
Well, it's not mad from Spurs' point of view, but it's like saying we want. I don't know, who's it like saying we want somebody who we're not going to get from somebody else.
60 million quid for Harry Kane. Liverpool will pay 60 million quid for Harry Kane. Would you think that was mad, or would you be taking your top off in excitement and anticipation?
Well, I'd be made up. I like Harry Kane.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I think we're in a funny period now where basically there is this, because the other rumour that won't go away to practically every top 7 Premier League side, with the exception of Stoke, is Oxlade Chamberlain to go somewhere. And I think we're in this funny period now where there is actually a little element of everybody, because the new TV money sort of can buy everybody, and then it comes down to whether or not players want to move and whether or not, because someone could price, but someone can put the price together. Spurs could, West Ham, for instance, could offer 25 million for Oxlade Chamberlain.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, Italy, funnily enough, Italy got like that in the 90s, didn't it? Where people like Vieri ended up playing for everyone.
Yeah,
they played for all the big sides, didn't they? Del Piero was a one-man club.
He was a one-club man.
He was a one-club man, yes. But there was enough of those lads around who moved from club to club. And maybe it is a factor of that, as you're saying. I suppose the fact that they named this, in today's terms, mealy-mouthed number of 25 million, I thought. Jordan Henderson is either finished, which I don't think he is because of the injury, or he's worth a lot more than that. He is also our club captain, so he's highly revered by supporters, managers, everything to do with the club. It's either got to be name him alongside a crazy figure, like you named a crazy. What is it crazy? 60 million Harry Kane. But imagine someone who gone, Liverpool are linked with a 27 million pound bid for Harry Kane this summer. You'd go, oh yeah, I do believe. Oxlade Chamberlain sounds to me like agent talk, because he's sort of not a fixture at Arsenal, is he? He's never quite 100% nailed it down. No. Part of the problem is the lad's injury prone.
On this though, just to go back to the bigger issue, which is the idea that maybe anyone can buy anyone, there is a thing here where, for instance, and I think the Henderson thing, I don't think it'd happen. I think it's nonsense. Well, it might be true in that Spurs would like to get him, but they might just be dipping their toe in the water, and I don't think it'll happen. The Oxlade Chamberlain thing is an interesting one, in the same way that Walcott is always an interesting one, because it is the idea that all the lads we're talking about here are very good players. So it's the idea that Oxlade Chamberlain could move somewhere, practically anywhere, including whoever wins the league this season, and become a fixture in the side. So it's the idea, back to it's as much about how are you going to use me as it is about the idea of who can afford me. If everyone can afford everyone, which is sort of where we're approaching, and if no one's dominant, which is sort of where we're approaching, then you've got this thing where it becomes, well, if I'm a player, I want to know what can you do for me, and it doesn't need to be money in my back pocket. That could be, I'm Oxlade Chamberlain, at the minute I get 35 appearances a season, but 17 of them from the bench. I'd quite like to have 32 starts in the league instead of 35 appearances in the league. Do you know what I mean?
Half build your team around me rather than treat me as you value me. But I suppose Milner's transfer is a little bit.
It's a lot like like that. It's a lot like that, actually.
You could have said until recently Lallana, someone like him could have got onto the cusp of being that sort of player, whereby we wouldn't have wanted to let him go, but Spurs might have built an attack around him.
We said that we'll play it every week, and that could still be the case. I think I think that the other thing, I wonder if the next step here is that squads are going to go back to being a little bit bigger again, because it's so physically draining, so much of what people are being asked to do, and then you've got the idea of being able to do it in the Champions League. I wonder if you're going to be back towards the idea of the Benitezian 2005, Houllier certainly 25-man squad. But then what that means is someone who's 17 in one side might be first 11 in another, and that's it's an interesting.
There's going to be a churn, isn't there? If you take that approach.
And the one thing I'd say about this is that it's all fantastic content. If you're thinking about subscribing to Talk Player, now could be the time, because there's a hell of a summer ahead, and not just around the idea of transfers, but about how transient this era of football is. This season will mean that no one's retained the title since 2010. I think I'm right in saying. No one's since United.
We're on the cusp of a Champions League entry next season, which has Leicester, Spurs and West Ham and one other from England. That's incredible if you think about it.
It is, and this is now where English football is, how this shakes down and all that sort of stuff. Honestly, I'm not messing around. It does sound like I am actually being a little bit facetious, but there's almost a series of shows that we're going to do on this over the summer. As everyone in this office will tell you, I plan meticulously, and I've already got summer plans sort of drilled down and had conversations with John and things, and I'm having them with you now in front of the viewing audience.
Can't pitch it now.
The pitch is the idea it's the idea that we get sort of a lot of our big thinkers in, and I think we do have reasonably sized thinkers, to talk about what all of this shake-up is doing and how it can have knock-on effects, and we'll get sort of wonderful, lovely, fluffy people like Rory Smith in as well, if he'll deign us with his presence, and it's always lovely when he does. So this is coming up in the summer on Talk Player. We're beginning to think like this now. It just shows that we're not quite as slapdash as you might think we are. We've also got the idea that the reality, Manchester United won, West Ham won. You watched it, I didn't. They played better.
Yeah, they did. They had patches where you go, I don't fancy that going on for 10 minutes on Thursday night, where they look like Man United do at Old Trafford historically. The crowd, for what it's a big crowd, and when they're excited, it's a good crowd. It's a good crowd. It is still something. And Martial, when he's in full cry and beating people, was quite scary. There are things they were doing against West Ham that reminded me of what they did to us earlier in the season. So anyone from our point that thinks this United side are just rubbish and we're just going to walk through this are very, very wrong. I think it's going to be hugely about how Klopp psychologically sets Liverpool up here. I think what he will hopefully say is to say, remember Man City, where our whole game plan was to make sure they didn't even get going. That's how you will get through this tie.
Okay, Rob Gutman on that. There'll be more of that coming over the next few days. Last thing is also, you're doing maths. You're doing fourth place maths, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, City only encouraged me over the weekend. They drew with Norwich.
They're mad, aren't they?
Yeah, that was. I had that down as an away banker when I'd been doing the maths. We are. Is it 4? Yeah, 4 off City. I think if we win our game in hand on them, which is a home game in hand.
And Arsenal look rubbish as well.
And Arsenal look rubbish as well. Yeah, we are. You have to say, Liverpool, given that we're the form team in the division at the moment, are in the.
There is those two lads first and second.
Who?
Leicester and Spurs, they're pretty good. They're in form.
Oh, they're good. But if you look, I think you track the last 6 or 7 games, we're the form team in the division,
really?
something like that. Yeah, yeah. Actually, in this reality, it's just me and you and a camera. That's true. Somebody else might correct us later. I did see one of those tables recently. But let's put it this way: we have just put Man U and Man City to the sword in a quick space of time. So, and we did Villa away 6-0. So we're not bad at the moment.
Yeah, but the mighty Reds. Right, okay. Underneath, you can correct us in the Facebook thing. You can also do comments all day on any of our Facebook posts. Today, we put the Anfield Wrap out yesterday. If you haven't seen it, it's just passed you by, we put it out yesterday because it was in the gap. Today, the Tuesday review will A, be being recorded, and B, be coming out. So it'll be coming out a day earlier after the United game. Sort of the final word on that United game, and then moving forward. We've also got some stuff to come out on the Coach Home as well. That should be with you today. And then tomorrow, and it is exciting, is part 1 of what we call history, 2006-2007. Mike Nevin and Ben Johnson, full throat and full cry. You can imagine what that's like. And then there's also a panel quiz show to come out tomorrow as well. Monday and Tuesday, already nailed. Told you to plan meticulously. See you later.